Well, everyone, it comes with great joy that I can announce some very amazing news. Today at 2 p.m., that is January 11th, 2023, a classmate of mine at Agape Boarding School from when I was there, from 2009 to 2011, sent me a message on Facebook with an article written by the Kansas City Star, which there is an article there that I'm in, has announced that Agape Boarding School will be closing. They're no longer accepting any students, and by the end of the month, they will be permanently closed. As you can see in this Google search right here, Agape Boarding School is permanently closed. See if click on their website to see anything. All that comes up is Agape Boarding School is permanently closed, and they give you a list of other boarding schools. It's Agape recommending boarding schools. With how bad Agape is, I wouldn't trust any of their recommendations. Just putting that out there. So, right now I'm going to be talking about this article, which absolutely amazing news. I have been talking to Laura a couple of times over the last 2 years. Yeah, over the last 2 years. So, Missouri boarding school accused of abusing students announces it is shutting down. Agape Boarding School, the embattled unlicensed Christian facility in southwest Missouri that has been dodged by abuse allegations for years, is closing its doors. The action comes as Missouri Attorney General Office said it planned to continue its um, can't say that word right now, for a court injunction injunction to close the school, which opened near Stockton in 1996. Now, that's not when the school actually opened. The school opened in 1990 in Stockton, California, and then moved to Washington State, and then moved to this location, Missouri, in 1996. For the last 30 years, Agape Boarding School has provided over 6,000 boys with an opportunity to get their life back on track and towards a bright future. This is according to Brian Clemenson, who is James Clemenson, the founder's son, and that's just absolute fucking bullshit. Just gonna fucking say that right now. Um, that's what he said shortly this afternoon. I'm sorry, this is small because I had to get it on off my phone. Agape has made the decision to stop providing services to the boys in its care effective January 20th, 2023. So they have 9 days and they will be closed for good. I just want to say that right now I can't describe what I'm feeling about this news. I feel like when I walked out of those doors for the last, well, walked out the front doors for the first time and the last time when I got out of there, like there's this feel of relief and freedom, but there's also an equally heavy weight of guilt because there's still students there that are getting abused the same way or differently than the way I was abused. And I feel the same way now, even though they're closing and they can't abuse any more children. There are still so many other boarding schools out there that are like this and worse. And there are some that have closed recently too, which is really good news, but it's there's still so much more to do is what I'm trying to say, and I feel that. Agape's focus is on getting the boys who remain in the program safely transitioned to their parents or to foster care, other group homes, or residential programs. I really hope that not a single boy is sent to a group home or residential facility that is recommended by them. This place is just so evil that anybody connected to them, if they are half as bad, it's still not a good place. He said that the decision to close is voluntary and is due to lack of financial resources to continue caring for the boys. The lack of financial resources, maybe because of loss, some litigation towards them, and they've just lost a shit ton of money, or maybe it's because word has finally got out that, hey, you should not send your kids here or your boys here. They're going to get abused, and so people are no longer sending them victims. Since late 2020, the school has been scrutinized by Missouri law enforcement, child welfare officials, lawmakers, and former students. Yep. I am a former student, and there has been lots of other former students that have come out about this place. Several of these students testified in Jefferson City. I was not one of those students that was able to make it. I should have. I regret not doing it because by not doing it, it was just one less voice. Urging lawmakers to do something about the years of abuse and protect the children still at the school. Legislators passed a law as a result that for the first time implements some regulations on such schools. I do want to say, um, she's mentioned later in this article, but Representative Carrie Engel has been an amazing person working on this legislation. Um, I mean, I don't. Everybody will admit that this legislation isn't strong enough, but it's a step in the right direction. I just want to say Carrie Engel has just been amazing on this. I've talked with her. Other students have talked with her. She's one of the, I wouldn't say the first peer. She's one of the first people to actually listen to those of us who have been trying to reach out to somebody and get them to listen, or not just listening, or if they did listen, they just said, "No, you're crazy. That doesn't happen," and not believe us. So Carrie Engel has just been an amazing person with this. Today, the many victims who have come forth can rest assured that no more children can be hurt by Agape Boarding School, said Robert Buckland, 28. I do want to say Robert Buckland was there when I was there. Um, he's been he's what am I trying to say? He's been very vocal with the stuff that has happened to him at this school, and so have so many other people um, who attended Cedar County School from 2007 to 2012. And it is among these who filed a lawsuit against the school. The hearing process can start for so many after years of fighting for justice. Justice has finally prevailed. I mean, honestly, with the school shutting down and the fact that they can't abuse any more people, that's the base of what needs to happen, and really relieved on that. And I really hope that, unlike when they left California and moved to Washington and then moved to Washington, Missouri, I really hope they don't just pick up and move somewhere else. And then also each staff member needs to be watched closely that they don't open up a new school, another school, because other staff members in the past, which I think they do go into later in this article, have picked up and moved to another state and opened up a school elsewhere. Representative Carrie Engel, Democrat out of Lee's Summit, pushed for the hearings on the boarding school and co-sponsored the new law with Representative Rudy Vet, Republican out of Wardsville. She said that she was happy about the closure, but more needs to be done. Absolutely. But I just want to say that the representatives that have been pushing this are just absolutely amazing people, and they care so much for their state. And then students that aren't even from their state that have been sent here. It they've really done a they've done a lot. Survivors deserve justice for the harm that they endured for entirely too long, Engel told the Star. To be clear, they cannot escape accountability simply by closing their doors. I look forward to working with the Attorney General's office and the Department of Social Services to ensure that they are able to close facilities immediately when children's safety cannot be ensured. again, the I don't think that myself and others can thank Carrie Engel enough for this, and then also the new Attorney General. Uh, I was talking to another student. Can't remember if it was earlier today or if it was a couple days ago, maybe, about the fact that there was a new Attorney General, and he did not think that anything was going to happen. And I just want to say that the new Attorney General is doing amazing. In September, the Missouri Attorney General and the Department of Social Services filed for an injunction saying that the student safety was in jeopardy and the school should close. In that case is still playing out in court. The Department of Social Services spokeswoman said Wednesday that the agency is aware of Agape Boarding School's announced closure. And we are in consultation with the Attorney General Bailey's office regarding steps forward with pending litigation, said Heather Dulce of DSS. Our top priority is to ensure that the safety and well-being of Missouri children, and the Children's Division team is dedicated to completely thorough investigation into every report of suspected child abuse and neglect that we have received. I do want to point out something right now that isn't talked about this in this article. When I was there was a group of students that ran away, and I want to say it was like 3 or 4 of them. They were picked up by the sheriff's department and brought back to the school, and the sheriff's department did did not open an investigation into the school. They just brought them straight back. They didn't take them to jail. They didn't take them somewhere else. They just brought them straight back to the school. And I think a part of this investigation, and they need to open up an investigation into the Cedar County Sheriff's Department. Myself, I was transported to this school by a deputy of the sheriff's department and his wife. I know that there are other law enforcement agencies that have members in their department that are transporters for this school and other schools. There needs to be an investigation into that as well. Um, that shouldn't be a thing. Dulles said that Children's Division would continue to have a 24-hour access to the Agape facility to observe the children there, which absolutely amazing. I'm so glad they did. They're doing that. I wish this would have happened so much sooner, but just knowing that this is finally happening is amazing. Missouri's new Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, briefly addressed the Agape case after his inauguration in Jefferson City last week. When asked, he told reporters he planned to continue the state's case against the school. The school also faces about 24 lawsuits from former students, and some have recently been settled. The amounts of those statements are not public. I don't know if this is something that could happen or not, but I honestly think there should be a class action lawsuit against the school um, that covers the other things. Even the fact of other students that didn't get physically assaulted and abused there, they witnessed these horrifying things. And the mental toll that it even has on those people that are indirectly affected, there should be a class action lawsuit against this, just for that. And I would love to walk through the school once it gets closed, knowing it's closed, and just I I would love to, but also at the same time I'd be scared too because I'm pretty sure the memories would just come flooding back. But I it's just it it's it it's great. Okay. um yeah, the amounts of these settlements aren't public. Going back to the fact that they were talking about they could no longer afford to stay open, I think this has a very big impact on that. The Star has investigated Agape and other boarding schools in southwest Missouri since late summer 2020. Many men who attended Agape in their youth said that they were subjected to physical restraints, aka beatdowns, extreme workouts, long days of manual labor, and food and water withheld as punishment. And they said that former students endured constantly berating and mind games. Yeah, there was a lot of verbal abuse, and some were physically and sexually abused by staff and other youth. Um, During a restraint, I was molested. I cannot tell you who did it because I was face down on a gravel road, getting my head continually picked up and slammed against the gravel road. I do remember being molested, and yeah, but sexually abused by staff members, that wasn't a uncommon thing. I wasn't witness for a lot of it, but it happened to me. I've heard stories of it happening to other people, especially during restraints. Agape is the fourth and final unlicensed Christian boarding school in Cedar County to close since 2020. I really hope that's okay. In 2021, five Agape staffers, including one who still works there, were charged with low-level felonies of physical assaulting students. At a December 8th preliminary hearing for three of these staff members, Scott Dumar, the school's medical coordinator, and Everett Graves. I don't know if Everett is Robert Graves or if I don't know if that's the same person or not. Um, Pled guilty to lesser misdemeanors and received 2 years probation. Um, the case against Christopher McElroy was dismissed when when his alleged victim did not show up to testify. I think there should be an investigation into that. I know that other students that have spoken out against Agape have had death threats. So that should probably be investigated. Um, Also, I do not agree with the 2 years probation for any, honestly, any staff member that was engaged in physically assaulting students. Seth Duncan pled guilty on December 14th to one misdemeanor and also receives 2 years probation. The case against former staff member Trent Hartman is ongoing. Um, I don't know. Elroy, Duncan, and Hartman were not there when I was there, so I don't know who those people are. David Smock, um, I do know who that is. He ran the urgent care and was the person that a lot of the times staff members would take. I was never taken to him, but I know a lot of students were. Um, um, yeah, so there should definitely be some investigation there into Scott Dumar taking kids to David Smock, because Dumar was the medical coordinator and would be the one that took people there. A Stockton doctor who was for many years treating students at Agape was charged in late 2021 and early last year with more than a dozen child sex crimes in 2 counties. He remains in custody, and those cases are still in court. In the past few years, two former staff members have been charged with crimes in other states. Going back to other staff members need to be watched to make sure they don't go to other states and build schools that are going to do the exact same thing. Kelly Vandercookie, I don't know who that is. He wasn't there when I was there. Who later opened his own Christian school in Kentucky, was indicted by a grand jury in Kentucky on December 20. Oh, in December, on 21 counts of first-degree criminal abuse of a child, 12 or under, and 10 counts of fourth-degree assault on a child. Vandercookie 52 was former Agape who former Agape students say ran the boot camp. The boot camp, also known as Browntown or Orientation, just putting that in there. I have a video on Browntown. It was called Browntown when I was there. On the Cedar County campus until the early 2000s. Early 2000s. Okay, so he was there way before me. Okay. Vanderkoy. Oh. Oh. I know who they're talking about now. Okay. Yes. He was not there when I was there, but there were students that were there when I was there that would tell stories of this guy. He was very brutal in his running of the boot camps and very violent in restraints. Vanderkoy, not Vandercookie, Vanderkoy. Yeah, as soon as it said Ray in boot camp, now I know exactly who that person is. And okay, all right, yep. Until the early 2000s, he has operated Pilgrim's Rest Ministry of Reconciliation School in Dundee, Kentucky, since 2005. The charges came after a lengthy investigation by Kentucky State Police late last year. Vanderkoy's son and daughter-in-law also were charged. So another big thing is some of these staff members' children end up working at these schools and eventually running them in the case of James Clemenson and Brian Clemenson. I don't know who Vanderkoy's son and daughter-in-law are, and I don't know Vanderkoy either. But I know that Brian Clemenson, he wasn't there when I was there, but there were so many stories of the people's elbow where he would WWE fucking drop elbow into students' backs while they were being restrained. And Stephen Clemenson, who I don't know if he's his son, but he's related to the Clemensons, so he's third generation, was also a very evil person. So these things just come down generationally and they get passed down. All right. And in mid-November, Steve Woolmark, 67, was charged in Alabama with 215 counts of possession of child pornography. Agape confirmed that Woolmaker worked at Agape School near Stockton from April 2005 to February 2006 and said he left to become an assistant director of a small boarding school in Ohio. Somebody needs to investigate that school in Ohio. He also served as a children's minister in that state, according to Alabama authorities. Did I skip something? No, I didn't. Okay, cool. The first of the Cedar County boarding schools to close was Circle of Hope Girls Ranch near Humansville. The owners, Boyd and Stephanie Householder, shut it down in September 2020 after authorities removed more than 20 students amid an investigation into abuse allegations against them. The Householders were charged in 2021 with nearly 100 felony accounts of abuse, including statutory sodomy, rape, physical abuse, and neglect. Their case is still going through the courts. I also want to say Amanda Householder, who is their daughter, has done a very good job at forefronting the conversation into these boarding schools. Boyd Householder also used to work at Agape. And Amanda can tell you stories of the things that she would see and watched her dad do at Agape and at these girls' school. And I just want to say Amanda has done a really good job at starting the conversation and getting the word out about these schools. And then this also shows that a lot of these IFB cult schools are all intermingled too, with Hiles Anderson, Harvest Baptist Church in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and so many more. First Baptist Church of Othello, Washington. There's just so many. They're just all intermingled. It's pretty scary. Wings of Faith Academy near Stockton, a Christian boarding school for girls, closed on June 1st. After 18 years in Cedar County, it was considered a sister school to Agape. Yes. So Wings of Faith went by many different names over the years. But the girls in the school, the girls would come to Agape Baptist Church, which was the church on the Agape campus. And the people who ran it, I wouldn't call them owners because I'm pretty sure Agape owned it. They were super, super tight. And there was a lot of abuse that happened there. I know a couple girls that I've talked to over the years that went there. Um, it was just as bad as Agape, if not worse. And Legacy Academy Adventures, led by a former longtime Agape staff member, closed last summer. The school which opened in May 2020, served boys ages 9 to 15. Owner Brent Jackson left Agape in 2018 after working there for 18 years, including time as the school's dean of students. Brent Jackson was the dean of students while I was there. He was also one of the people that ran Browntown, the orientation or boot camp, as some would say. He was also one of the staff members used for restraints. When I was restrained at 17, he was the one that spearheaded my restraint, directly ordered by James Clemenson, where I was taken to the palace and had the shit beaten out of me. So that was my second. I was restrained twice there, and that was the second restraint that I had. But yeah, so this is the article by the Kansas City Star. Um, yeah. All right. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to share this amazing news that this place is finally closed. I'm going to continue this project even though the school is closed. My goal now is no longer to spread the word so people don't send their children there, but now my goal is just to spread the word so people knew exactly how bad this was, because there's so many people out there that still deny that this place did the things that they do. The current staff members, former staff members, still deny that this is what happens there. Agape released, was it last year or 2 years ago, um, a thing on Twitter saying all these activists, none of them went to the school, none of them worked at the school, and lied. So that's my new goal. So yeah, awesome. If you would please subscribe to keep updated, like the video. I'm trying to get this out to as many people as I possibly can. Thank you.